You're listening to The Drew Yari Show. Drive!
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to a new episode of the podcast. It is, while I'm recording, it's Friday, and it's 6:32 p.m. Central Time over here in San Antonio. Just me tonight. Originally, it was going to be me and Ruben. Due to technical difficulties, Ruben can't be on. So we had to reschedule, but I couldn't, not put out a show. So it's just me. It's just gonna be a simple show tonight. I'm just gonna be talking about CM Punk, predicting the shows for this weekend, Summerslam and Takeover. I already did it on Hammerlock Hangover last night with Steve and Jeff. So I'm still gonna give it anyway because I still need to put out a show for you guys. I guess one thing I need to kind of go over is I've been really mulling this over in my head about something that's been on my mind for the longest time about moving elsewhere. Hold on. Jesus Christ. That was probably a bad idea to do before the show, but fuck it. Anyways. So I've been mulling it over in my head about moving the show to a different platform. And this has nothing to do with Spreaker. Spreaker's always been good to me. Spreaker's always paid me. This is just... At the end of the day, it's a money thing. And Anchor is actually free. They're free and they actually pay you, just what I heard. So I'm gonna cancel my Spreaker membership. I'm not gonna cancel the show. Just let me get that out there. I'm not gonna cancel the show. I'm gonna cancel my Spreaker membership and switch over to Anchor, which it looks like all the shows are on. Because before, it only had a show, like the most recent updated show that was on it was from like 2019. And what I was doing was I was redirecting the feed to a new platform. And when I did it, at first the shows weren't automatically on there. And I didn't expect it to like just be on there like right off the bat. I knew it was going to take some time. So I sent Anchor a Twitter DM. And I just told them about it, and they said, "Oh, we'll get right on it." So I decided to record on Anchor for the show today. So I go to my profile, and all the episodes are on there, the most recent episodes. So, like I mentioned, effective immediately, I will be switching over to Anchor. I'm gonna cancel my subscription to Spreaker. You'll still be able to hear the show. The show is still gonna come out on other platforms. I'm not sure if I have to, like, once I start my membership. It's not really a membership, but I'm not sure if I have to like redo the whole, publish, shows on other platforms shit. I have to ask RJ about that, because RJ knows more about Anchor than I do. You're gonna be hearing me clear my throat a lot. So, and it's also, again, it's a money thing. I'm cutting costs on a lot of shit, and I have a lot of shit that I'm subscribed to. And, we're trying to save up for, a big vacation next year. So, because next June is going to be me and the ladies' 10-year anniversary. So we've been planning something big. And I can't even really say what it is because we're not even sure yet. But we want to save money, so I'm looking at a lot of things I'm subscribed to. So I'm just going to cut costs on a lot of shit. And Spreaker, unfortunately, is one of them. So again, Spreaker's always been good to me, and I have nothing but good things to say about Spreaker. I mean, if you're a podcaster, if you're an up-and-coming podcaster, and you don't mind, spending a few bucks to make a few bucks, then Spreaker is the right place for you. But this is just a money thing. Like I'm trying to save a few bucks, mainly. So, anyways, enough of that. I guess the big news that's happening today is Rampage, which I believe starts right after SmackDown. I don't think it competes with SmackDown. I think it goes right after SmackDown. So like at 9 Central Time. It's going to be in Chicago. And it's going to be in the United Center, which is a really big deal because Vince McMahon himself has not spent money to try and even go to the United Center. Like the United Center is, known as like the single most expensive arena because they will poke your eyes out. Not even Vince McMahon himself does not spend money on that shit. Whenever they go to Chicago, they'll go to Rosemont or Illinois, whatever, but they won't actually go to Chicago. Tony Khan, of course, is willing to open up his pocketbook. So he spent over a shit ton of money to book this show in the United Center. And, the word around the water cooler for the past, forever, is that a certain Punk, if you will be making his return, but also his debut in AEW. CM Punk, you didn't know what I was talking about. And CM Punk, usually whenever the wrestling talk, enters the equation, he'll just automatically just flat up deny and say, no, not coming, not doing it. Or he'll just say, I'm not doing it, I'm done, I have no reason to come back, let the young guys wrestle. Give the young guys a chance. Lately, he's been very cute about the wrestling talk. Like, when they ask him, about AEW specifically, like, who do you like over there, he'll name a few people, like Darby Allin, for example. He says Darby Allin's, the king of, dives. And also on his Instagram, he's been putting some interesting stuff on his stories. Just today, he put a picture of the Dark Knight Returns, graphic novel with, Queens Don't Stop Me Now. And then I believe it was yesterday or the day before, or it might have been a few days ago. On his Instagram story, he put the number 5, the number 11, and 2021, which, people were deciphering that as, 05 meant that's when he signed with WWE. 2011 was the summer of Punk, which is when he re-signed. And 2021, that could mean anything. That could mean maybe he's announcing retirement, maybe he's announcing his return, which is what people are looking at as. All I know is that tonight's going to be a big night for wrestling. Preferably for AEW. Tony Khan has been very, hush-hush on the CM Punk talk. And he said in an interview, I don't want to disappoint anybody. And that's pretty much all he said. And then Anthony Missionary Thomas from Wrestling Soup, shared the quote, and he's like, all right, I'm going. So Anthony Missionary Thomas is going to be in attendance at AEW tonight, which is going to be pretty interesting. So I'm definitely going to be watching. I mean, they're going to get a big rating just out of curiosity. And all I'm going to say is that for the longest time, when it came to CM Punk, I've always had the notion of, I'll believe it when I see it. And even these past months, I've been very much, I'll believe it when I see it. Now I have a feeling it's an actual possibility. Because, like I said, before CM Punk had made it very clear he's done and he's not coming back. Preferably if it was WWE. If they asked him WWE, questions, he would say, I don't want to come back. He said before, I'll just be another wrestler on a bad television show. He's been very complimentary of AEW about a lot of people on there. So I know he's friends with the Bucks, which is odd that they would be friends. Again, he's been very complimentary of Darby Allin. It's weird because there's people in the company I think he has heat with, or he doesn't really get along with, because I know he doesn't get along with Jericho. Or I think it's a thing of he doesn't like Jericho, but Jericho likes him. Because Jericho, it said, he did a good acquisition. I think he's friends with Big Show. I think he's friends with Mark Henry. And then I believe Christian. I don't know how he feels about Matt Hardy, because, he dated Lita, and Matt, of course, dated Lita. So, it'd be interesting. It would be very interesting. I'm interested to see what happens tonight. But how do you place it? Is the obvious notion of save it for later, or have a heel like an MJF, do his heel shtick, talking shit about CM Punk or Chicago. I think it would definitely get him a lot of heel heat if he came out to Cult of Personality, and MJF comes out just to piss off the crowd. Kind of like with Shawn Michaels when he was in whatchamacallit. Was it Calgary? No, it was Montreal. I'm sorry. It was Montreal in 2005. He comes out and just talks shit to everybody in Canada, and then Bret Hart's music plays, and the whole place goes nuts, and Shawn's just in the ring, just dying laughing. And I just remember, and that's why I remember it was Montreal. He goes, "Oh, our daddy, Montreal." MJF can do that. He can, come out and talk a little shit. Or he could, or, like I mentioned, Cult of Personality plays, and it's just MJF. And he just talks a little bit of shit. And, because one thing that's a lot of people don't seem to remember is, there's a picture of MJF as a kid taking a picture with CM Punk, which I imagine was in 06, 07. Because that was when Punk still had the long hair and, looked all skinny and shit. He's still kind of skinny, but he looked skinnier back then. I don't know how you would book it. I don't know what CM Punk's first interaction with anybody would be. I really don't know. You can't have that be the beginning of the show, because nothing after that is going to be able to top CM Punk coming out. I don't think the crowd will care. They probably will. Because AEW loves any of the wrestlers, regardless of how green they are. But you save that shit for last. Save that shit for last to be an entire 30-minute segment. CM Punk just cannot come out for 5 minutes. He has to. You need to give him a whole sitcom's worth of TV time. That's what you do. But again, I'm not booking the show, so I have no clue what they're going to do. But as far as after that goes, how do you keep that momentum? Because when I was on Hammerlock Hangover last night, I said, Punk needs to be an attraction. We'll just point out the obvious. He hasn't wrestled in 7 years. And a lot of Punk's, gripe with the company was that, he never got time off. He was always just wrestling constantly. And, for a guy that hasn't wrestled in 7 years, and I don't know how old Punk is. I believe he's early 40s. So I can't imagine that he's, the same, spry young man that he was 7 years ago. So he needs to be, again, he needs to be an attraction. Because Daniel Bryan's going to want to come in and work a lot. The talk is that Daniel Bryan asked for a part-time schedule. and they literally just let Daniel Bryan have whatever they want, whatever the hell he wanted, which is good. For CM Punk, he needs to be an attraction, because if he comes out every single week, it's gonna be like what he said with WWE. He's gonna just be another guy on a television show. Or in WWE's case, a bad television show. For AEW, I mean, I don't want to say AEW is a bad television show compared to Raw, but it's not a perfect television show. But you don't want CM Punk to just be another character on a television show. You want him to be... You want the crowd to care that he's there. It's like Jim Cornette says, how can I miss you when you're never gone? So, that's how he needs to be used. Use them for only pay-per-view events, which AEW only has 4 or 5 pay-per-view events a year. That's what you do. Or for their big, was it Fighter Fest, Fight for the Fallen, whatever they want to call it. That's how you use them. And use them sparingly. And I know I just said attraction, which is kind of the same thing, but I don't know how they keep this momentum after tonight if he does show up, which it kind of seems like he is. But we'll see. If I had to guess, I would say they're going to get maybe a 1.5. That's my biggest guess, which is not bad. It's decent. And then how do they keep it? Because at the end of the day, AEW relies more on the ratings. That's how they look at it. They rely more on the ratings and the wrestling. WWE relies more on the characters and the storylines, which, they're not getting 3s and 4s and 5s anymore, but, SmackDown is still getting 2s for the most part. Raw gets, 1.7, 1.8, but it's not anything, brag about. But, and then NXT, is doing a lot of sports entertainment stuff, which can work for them in their favor, but NXT should be the wrestling show and not the sports entertainment show, and also they should just be on Peacock. But that's another story. But again, I'll be happy when CM Punk comes back because I like CM Punk. And that's it. I mean, I'll be happy when Daniel Bryan comes in because I like both of those guys. Yeah, that's how I feel about tonight. I'll be looking forward to it. I'll definitely be watching. Didn't get a chance to watch the first show when it was live, but I was able to... This is weird because I not subscribed to it, but I put it on my DVR, but for whatever reason the first episode didn't pop up until a few days ago, and not the day of, which is so weird. Luckily I was able to watch it. Tonight, I will definitely watch it. It's going to be a lot of wrestling. It's going to be 3 hours worth of wrestling tonight, back to back. So, again, I'm looking forward to it. It's Chicago. Chicago is white fucking hot when it comes to their wrestling. They love their wrestling. They are going to be white hot tonight, and so look out for that. So I guess we get into SummerSlam. All right, let's get into SummerSlam. SummerSlam is this Sunday. It's going to be in Las Vegas. Because I printed out the matches at work. I forgot to print out the name of the arena. I just know it's in SummerSlam. Not SummerSlam. Las Vegas. And so far there's 10 matches. There's not a pre-show. I mean, there should really be a pre-show if you're going to have 10 matches. But good thing it's on a Saturday. I mean, I kind of hope they keep this thing going of pay-per-views on a Saturday because we're not going to sit there and watch a 3.5-hour WWE pay-per-view and then we have to work the next day. Or, for some other people, they have to take their kids to school the next day. So keep it on Saturdays. That's a better thing to do is keep it on Saturdays. And don't, with this, keep everyone there until midnight on Sunday. But I hope they keep this. One of the few good things Nick Khan has done. So let's do this. Let's go. I'm just gonna start in order. Nikki Ash, almost a superhero, the Raw Women's Champion versus Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the Raw Women's Championship. I've not been the biggest fan of Nikki Ash. It's nothing personal against Nikki. I like Nikki a lot. I like Nikki Cross a lot. I think she's great. I think she's a sweetheart. I'm just not liking this gimmick, and the crowd isn't really liking it either. They really are. Like when I was at Raw on Monday, the crowd was booing her. They were booing her during her promo in the back. She was I've already made peace with the fact that this isn't for us. This isn't for grown-ups. This is for kids. So kids are gonna like this, I think. But the crowd was booing her. Like I can't ignore that. They were booing her. Like she's out there saying, "I got to be a superhero," and the crowd just doesn't like her. I mean, let me rephrase that. They don't like the gimmick. I don't think it's her they don't like. I think it's the gimmick they don't like. The whole goody gimmick. And she gets booed during the match. She gets beat by Rhea. She's been beat by both women on Raw. And then later on, they have a tag match against Nia Jax and Charlotte, and then they lose too. So, and then after the match, she was a little bit more aggressive, and when they went after Charlotte, but I don't know. Someone pointed that out that maybe that's a character change. Maybe she's going to be more like a badass, anti-hero. Maybe she's going to change. I kind of hope so because again, the whole goody thing just isn't working. And again, I know I said the gimmick's not for me, but it's not good. It sucks. And I don't want to boo Nikki because I like Nikki a lot. I think she's amazing. But just you're making her look like an idiot. You really are. It's stupid. And again, I don't want to boo Nikki, but my pick was Charlotte. Again, old reliable. That's basically Charlotte. Nikki, this isn't working. I mean, they only really gave it to her so that way she can cash it in, the crowd can go nuts. And then Rhea just hasn't been doing well because Rhea's problem is that she has no identity. Like, she's supposed to be a face, but she acts like a heel. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, she's an anti-hero. She's an anti-babyface. She's, a kick-ass face. Like, she does heelish things, and she talks like a heel. But it's not in a way where it's like, you would think she's fighting for the side of good. I don't know really how to explain it for it to make sense, but she needs to be a heel. Straight up, she needs to be a heel. She needs to stop pretending to be a face. She needs to be a heel. Probably the best way I can think of it is like, she acts like a heel, but she talks like a face. Like she tries to give, babyface promos, but she does it in a heelish way. That'd be like if I showed up to your house and I was like, "Hey man, how you doing? How's your family? Yeah, I heard about what happened to your uncle. I'm really sorry, dude. If you ever need anything from me, just let me know." Now, here's me saying in a heelish way, "Hey man, how's your family?" Yeah, I heard what happened to your uncle. By the way, if you ever need anything from me, just tell me. Come on. Maybe it's not the best impression, but you guys kind of get the gist of what I'm saying. But it's just, she needs to be. But yeah, again, she's young. I mean, I think people forget how young she is. I don't even think she's 25 yet. That's how young she is. So she has a long ways to go. So she has her whole career ahead of her. If she's 28 and she still has a fucking identity crisis, then that's going to be a problem. But I think she'll do fine. She has the talent and she has the look. So she'll do fine. But Charlotte's going to win. As far as like what happens, because the talk is that not Rhea, Becky is possibly going to show up at SummerSlam or maybe even the next night. I think you save that for the next night. Like, you have Charlotte come out and talk a little bit of shit, and Becky comes out and says, By the way, that's my title. That's my title you're holding. And you and me have unfinished business. And yeah, we've seen Becky and Charlotte, 8 million times, but it's just like, who else in the women's division is going to draw on people? Charlotte is a draw, in my opinion. Becky is a draw. Ronda is a draw, but Ronda's not here. Ronda's, pregnant, and I don't even think she'll be back, personally. Sasha, that's up for discussion. Bayley, I don't think is a draw. Bayley, I think, is the better worker out of that whole bunch, but I don't think she's a draw. Yeah, Charlotte and Becky are the draws. They sell merch. They bring in the people. Like, that can main event a pay-per-view. Could it main event WrestleMania again? I don't think so. But could that main event Backlash? Could that main event Hell in a Cell? Could that main event, No Way Out? Yeah, it could. So, when Becky comes back, it's going to be huge. Because we have not seen Becky in over a year. I mean, because she left after, not WrestleMania, but she actually left the night after Money in the Bank, because that was when Asuka, won Money in the Bank. And then, Becky, she was pregnant, she left, and she allowed Asuka to not cash it in. Well, technically cash it in, but not like, pin her or beat her. She just relinquished the title. So she's been gone for, was it like, I guess like almost pretty much a year and a half, which is crazy. But hey, you have kids, Becky earned that time off. So I want to see Becky back. I love Becky. Seth not so much, but I love Becky. So it's gonna be cool to hear that theme. That da 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 da. That was probably the worst interpretation of that song, but you get what I mean. The hot blonde on my TV. Anyways, back to the show. I'm watching Modern Family, so there's a hot blonde on the show. Ariel wants her. She's kind of. I'm not gonna lie, she's kind of fine. No, not kind of. She is. I love brunettes. I love brunettes and glasses. So yeah, that's my prediction for the first match. Second match in order. Actually, I'm just gonna flip flop around because I think the second match that's on this list is gonna be the main event. So I'm just gonna go backwards. AJ Styles and Omos, the Raw Tag Team Champions, versus RK Bro, Randy Orton, and Matt Riddle for the Raw Tag Team Championships. I'm looking forward to this match, which is, when's the last time we've ever looked forward to a Tag Team Championship match in WWE? I mean, we really haven't, because tag team titles, they're just, for a lack of a better term, for a long time, and they've been very much like a prop. They've been a prop match. I mean, the last time tag team titles, I guess, had some significance to them was when they main evented TLC in 2010. Or not 2010, 2009, when it was DX versus Jericho. And that match was more about the teams and not really the titles. But it was the last time the tag titles, I guess, had any significance. Hold on, let me just turn that down. Come on. Alright. That's the example I can think of in the most recent one. But I'm very much looking forward to this match. The crowd's going to be hot for it because, again, going back to Raw, Riddle is over. I mean, I've known Riddle was over for the last few weeks. The crowd was loving Riddle. As soon as his music hit, especially during the segment where he came out to make the save for Orton, as soon as his music hit, they were going nuts. They were going fucking nuts. And whenever him and Randy embraced, when Randy said, "You got my respect, kid," and they hugged, the whole place went nuts. And I like when Randy went, "Randy, you make me so happy." I love Riddle. Has made the best of whatever the WWE has wanted him to do. And the talk is that Vince likes him, which that's always a feather in your cap. If Vince likes you, then you're in. You're in, and it helps that Riddle's talented, and he can also be goofy and he can be serious. And it helps when you have a guy like Randy Orton there to teach you. And it wouldn't surprise me if you found out that Randy actually did like Matt, that he went out of his way to put him over, because the one thing about Randy that's always kind of not kind of, but it's always been a thing of like, you don't know what Randy you're gonna get. You don't know if you're gonna get the Randy that either uses his full ass or half his ass, or even no ass. But Randy seems like his heart is in this feud. It's in this tag team with him and Matt. So I'm liking this tag team. I mean, it's got remnants of, well, not remnants. It's very similar to the Rock and Sock Connection when you look at it, because you have the goofy guy, you have the goofball in Matt Riddle, and then you have the arrogant, too cool for school guy in Orton, who's basically the Rock, and Riddle being Mankind. So that's why it's working. That's why it's getting over. This doesn't feel like a team that was just spliced together. They obviously had a plan for this team, and it's paid off. So I'm happy for Riddle, because I've always liked Riddle, and I'm glad that he's Matt Riddle again, not just Riddle. Which almost seems funny, because it almost seems like Vince is saying, all right, kid, you got your first name back. You're no longer just Riddle. You're Matt Riddle. Oh shit! Look at the damn. There's a big titty woman there. It's goddamn. SmackDown's on. So, while I'm reviewing this, I'll also be doing a watch along this night. I guess a little bit, because again, this isn't going to be a long show, because I'm going to end up watching Rampage after this. So, Edge is out. They're in Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm imagining he's getting a big pop. But for this match, and let me also say another thing about this match. AJ and Omos have been just as important to this feud as Orton and Riddle are. AJ is just AJ. What else can you say about him that hasn't already been said? He's AJ. He's so great as a heel. Like, I don't think I ever want to see him as a babyface again, because he's just that damn good as a heel. That's just my opinion. I think AJ should just retire a heel. And then Omos is getting there. But I like Omos. I think he's amazing. I think his facials are great. I think whenever he smiles, it's creepy. And he's good. He's a good shit talker in the ring. I love his fucking theme, by the way, because I haven't heard his theme. And when I was there live, this past Monday, I heard his theme. I'm like, that's actually pretty fucking cool. Like, it was like I guess it was like reggaeton, rap, whatever you want to call it. No, not reggaeton, but no, because reggaeton I think is like more Hispanic. Yeah, it is reggaeton. Is it reggaeton? I don't know what it is, but it sounded pretty fucking cool. I'm not even the biggest rap fan, and I thought that was pretty fucking cool as music. And they haven't released like an actual clean, full version of it, because it's brand new. But I hope they do, because that was a pretty fucking cool thing, and it fits them. But yeah, AJ and Omos have done a great job in this feud. Like, they've made the feud mean something. As far as this Sunday goes, not Sunday, it's tomorrow actually. Damn, I need to get used to that. Tomorrow, not this Sunday. Tomorrow, literally tomorrow. I'm going for RK Bro. I want that feel good moment. Keep the titles on them for a while, and I mean, eventually they're going to do the breakup. I hope it's not Orton that perpetrates the breakup. I kind of hope they really swerve people and have Riddle be the one that turns heel and attacks Orton. I think that would be interesting. Or I don't even think you need to necessarily turn him heel. Just have him lose control. Like, have it be a thing of like, Riddle cost the team the tag titles because he can't get his ego. He can't get his his personality under control. and then Orton kind of has to, show him some tough love, and then Riddle attacks him. And not necessarily because he's a heel, but because, again, this young punk, can't learn his ways. But I'm going for RK-Bro. And I wouldn't mind if this feud continued. I wouldn't mind if we got to see it at the next pay-per-view. So, good match. I'm looking forward to it. Next we have Alexa Bliss versus Eve Marie with Doudrop. I don't care. Don't care for either of these people. I mean, Doudrop, Piper Niven, I like her. Other than that, I don't care about this feud. So, next, Drew McIntyre versus Jinder Mahal. Veer and Shanky are banned from ringside. I mean, come on. Do you honestly think Jinder's going to win this match? This is basically to keep Drew away from the title because they were putting him in that main event scene for the longest time. So, Drew's going to win this. This is just something for Drew to do. As for Jinder, he sucks. That's all I can say. He sucks. He said something about how he didn't appreciate how people considered his title run, to be an experiment, and that he wasn't that good, and he did a lot in his title reign. I'm like, dude, you suck. I don't know how to break it to you, but you suck. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's just like, Jinder sucks. I don't know. How does he not see that was an experiment? I mean, it's something WWE does all the time. They give these guys these title reigns during the summer because summertime usually isn't a very good time for wrestling, especially for WWE. And he was champion for as long as he could be, which I think he was champion maybe a little bit too long. I think it was for 6.5, 7 months. And then they gave it to AJ. Because they already booked him and Brock, and then AJ won it, and then that ended up becoming a much better match than we could have gotten with Jinder and Brock. So, the point of this is Jinder sucks. So he just needs to live with that. He sucks. He's not good at all. Like, the guy has nothing to him that I can say is good. He's not even good at being a heel. He's a goofball. Plain simple. Next is another match I'm looking forward to. Sheamus defending the United States Championship against Damian Priest. Never have I ever thought that I'd be excited to see a match with Sheamus. And it's weird because Sheamus isn't exactly a spring chicken. But in this past year, I mean, I don't even want to say a past year because we're not even done with the year. But this whole year, Sheamus has been so goddamn good in the ring. He has had some great matches. I mean, he wrestled Drew, which I think lit a fire in him because him and Drew are friends. So, of course, you're going to wrestle your boy. You're going to have some good chemistry, and you're going to want to bring it all. And maybe even Drew had something to do with that. Maybe Drew was like, dude, just you're a badass. Like, wrestle like a badass. Like, don't try to be too snug. Like, wrestle like you're an actual ass kicker. And then he had a good match with Riddle at WrestleMania. So I'm looking forward to this match because I love Damian Priest. Another guy I've turned the corner on because when I first saw him in NXT, I was not crazy about it. I didn't think he was all that great. I just thought he was another lumbering. Damn, Edge looks pissed off. God damn. I just thought he was another lumbering, big guy that didn't really have too much talent. And he won me over. He won me over. He even won Joey Numbers in. And Joey Numbers is a pretty tough customer. But he was able to, win me over. And he was able to get over with the crowd. I mean, granted, they hot-shotted him into a big feud with, not really a feud. They paired him with Bad Bunny, who, he's not my cup of tea, as far as, artist goes or, music, but he's a recognizable name. I can at least say that. My girl's cousin, adores him and thinks he's, amazing, and she wants to have his kids. And he's recognizable everywhere. He's in commercials, he's on TV shows. He did a good job at me, Bad Bunny. So, and then even after that, he's consistently been able to stay over with the crowd because he's likable. He's great in the ring. He's good on the mic. He's a good-looking dude. And he has a man's voice. I just kind of wish they'd keep him away from Miz and Morrison already. Like, I want to see him do something else because in this feud with Sheamus, you haven't really seen Sheamus too much. It's just been all Damian Priest against the Miz and Morrison. The only time you ever seen him interact with Sheamus is whenever he beat him in a match to get a title shot, and also to talk to him in the ring one time. That's it. They haven't really built this matchup, properly. Which kind of worries me that for tomorrow, because I have a feeling that Priest isn't going to win, and I'll say why. It's because mainly I think Miz and Morrison are going to get involved and try and fuck with Priest. It's too obvious. But I mean, if he does win, I'll be very happy. But I have a feeling Sheamus is going to win, solely based off of fuck finishing. And again, the match hasn't really been built up that properly. Next is Edge and Seth Rollins in a singles match. A lot of people aren't feeling this match. I know Wrestling Soup was crazy about it. They're not big Seth fans, and I know they're not big Edge fans. I'm not crazy about this feud either. I'm not crazy about Seth. I think he's been overexposed, and he really should have been out a lot longer than just like 2 months. They should have kept him off TV for a long time until he was actually ready to come back. But I'm not digging Seth Rollins. I'm not digging the whole, drip, Rollins, whatever the hell you want to call him. Edge I like. Edge, you can at least say he hasn't phoned it in. He comes in every night and gives it his all. He goes out there and wants to actually wrestle. I mean, I know a lot of people want to say maybe he should just do tag matches or shorter singles matches. I think he's doing fine because he actually wants to be here. He's not just here for a paycheck like Oldberg. He actually wants to be here and wrestle. And the paycheck is. But I think Seth will win to kind of get his heat back. Because again, Seth has kind of been on a losing streak. Edge has lost a few matches too. But I think they're going to give it to Seth because, again, he has to get his heat back. Next match, you have Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks Bianca Belair defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Sasha Banks. I love Bianca, but I hate her as a heel. Not a heel. I hate her as a face. She needs to be a heel. Her gimmick it screams heel. And I know people are gonna say The Rock. The Rock, comes out and says The Rock is the most electrifying. Like, yeah, that he was able to earn that persona because he got over with the fans so quickly. For someone like Bianca, it just isn't working. You know what I mean? She needs to be a heel. And I think Sasha's going to win it. Because Sasha's over. And that's hard for me to say because I've never been a Sasha fan at all. But I can say that Sasha is over and she gets a reaction. And she's popular and her merch sells. So give it to Sasha because Bianca has not been working out as a face. She needs to be a heel. There needs to be something for her to do, someone for her to wrestle that can bring out that heel persona. Who, you ask? I don't know because, the women's roster on SmackDown is, like, fucking thin as shit. So I don't know who you put her against. I mean, you can bring out that heel persona against Shotzi. That'd be interesting. I would love to see that. Or possibly even Tegan Nox. So I don't know. I really don't know. But get it off of Sasha. Get it off of Bianca already. Next, tag team match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. You have the Usos defending the titles against Rey Mysterio and Dominic. Two things. The Usos are going to win it. And I have a feeling that something's going to happen with Dominic and Rey. Because lately they've been teasing a lot of tension between Dominic and Rey. I think Dominic is going to turn on his father. Personally, that's just me. I know people suggested Ray turning on Dominic, but that wouldn't look right. That really wouldn't look right to me, because Rey Mysterio can never, ever be a heel. Ever. And never, ever, ever, ever. He cannot be a heel. Dominic can be a heel. I think that's something that could maybe even save him. Because at this point, I'm not the biggest Dominic fan at all. I'm really not. The guy's just not. He's not very good. My biggest criticism of him is that he's tall, but he tries to wrestle like his dad. And he shouldn't be doing that at all. I mean, if any, try to wrestle like Eddie. I mean, he is your dad, wink wink. But I have a feeling Dominic's going to go heel after this match. That's just me. WWE is going to want to pull all stops at SummerSlam. And, you know, with COVID numbers rising, the talk is that this might be the last time in a good, well, not the last time officially, but like we might not see a big crowd like this for a while. What is Jey Uso doing with his tongue? Jeez. So I have a feeling this show's going to pull out all the stops. Next, you have Bobby Lashley defending the WWE title against Oldberg, or Goldberg, however you want to call it. I mean, Bobby Lashley should go over decisively. He really should. I don't see Goldberg winning. There is no reason for Goldberg to ever be a champion again, ever. Goldberg said after this, he was only going to have 2 more matches left on his contract. Which, good. I want to say Bobby Lashley's going to go over decisively, but it's Goldberg, so that's never going to happen. Goldberg's not going to look, weak for anybody. Here's what I think could happen, is Goldberg's son, and they've made it very, obvious that his son is going to be involved in this match somehow. I mean, from the get-go, his son was involved. He was involved, in that thing with MVP where Goldberg came out and speared him, and then he was involved on Monday. So, what do you do with Gage? I mean, I don't see them having him physically get involved. Maybe to, shove MVP, and maybe MVP gets in the face boy, I will whoop you with this cane. Or maybe, MVP threatens to hurt Gage. Which I think that would be interesting. Goldberg's about to go for a spear, and then, MVP ends up grabbing Gage out of the crowd, and threatens to hurt him. And that distracts Goldberg, and then, Bobby Lashley, spears Goldberg, and then puts the Hurt Lock on him. And that's how, you win the match with Lashley. Or, what else do you do? I mean, you obviously can't give Goldberg the title. No. You can't. You really can't. The crowd will turn on Goldberg, real fast. I mean, Goldberg gets a good reaction whenever he comes out. He got a good reaction on Monday, despite what a certain Kevin Castle might have to say. Goldberg is over with the crowd. He gets cheers. The crowd likes Goldberg. They just don't want to see him win. He's an attraction. Like I said, CM Punk should be. Goldberg is an attraction. And it's good to use him every now and then. Put him back in the toy box and bring him back out when you're ready to play with him again. But, the length of the match, I would say 8 minutes. 8 minutes. Well, as far as the match goes, 5 minutes. And then 2.5, 3 minutes worth of Goldberg's entrance. So, Bobby's going to win this. He kind of has to. Do not have Bobby Lashley jobbed at Goldberg. Come on. It was bad. It's bad enough when you did it to Kevin Owens, when you did it to The Fiend. Don't do it to Bobby Lashley. Come on. And I know people are gonna want to say, Vince wants to have the oldest WWE champion of all time. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Goldberg as a WWE champion will not work. Or maybe he will, because since we're heading back into another potential, lockdown, which. Oh no, my God! Now I'm hating even thinking about it. Are they going to give it to Goldberg because there's something they know that we don't know? Oh, God. Oh God. Ugh. Oh my God, I've just upsetted myself. All right, I'm gonna move on to the next match because I think I'm thinking I'm gonna cry. Main event. I'm assuming this is the main event because it will be. Universal Championship match. You have Roman Reigns, the champion, with Paul Heyman versus John Cena. It's weird because I want to say Roman Reigns because they really do want to build towards Roman Reigns versus The Rock. And the talk is that The Rock is gonna, show up at Survivor Series. And, the main event of WrestleMania is gonna be The Rock versus Roman Reigns. That's their big money match they want to build towards. Cena, I don't think really gives two shits about being a world champion anymore. At this point, Cena's here for a discount. He came back because he wants to be here. And he's going to put over whoever they want him to put over. And that includes Reigns. Because, as I said before, their feud from 2017 was very one-sided. Because it was just John Cena, doing promos, and it was Roman Reigns, looking, with his dick in his hand, essentially. Now, this feud is very even because Roman is so damn good. He is so good in his role. He's so great on promos. Paul Heyman doesn't necessarily do anything, but he really completes the character. Like, I think if you took Paul Heyman away, I think it would really hurt Roman because Paul Heyman doesn't really have to say anything. He just has to be right there to hand Roman the title. And it's like I want Paul Heyman to be there to hand Roman the title. If you took Paul Heyman away, I would hate it. So keep Paul for as long as possible. I guess until Brock comes back. But again, love their promo from last Friday. I thought the promo was so good. Cena's promo was great because it was simple. Because he didn't try to do the whole, I fight over adversity because I'm John Cena. Like, he didn't try and do all that shit. He kept it very simple. He's like, you can whoop my ass. And you probably will. But I'm just going to hang in there because all I need is 1, 2, 3. He just kept it simple. And then Roman with his comment about, missionary, didn't keep Nikki Bella around. And Cena, telling him, Roman that, you drove Dean Ambrose out of the WWE. It's going to be a great match. It's going to be a huge match. The crowd's going to go ape shit for it. What's going to happen? I don't know. I mean, all signs point to fuckery, happening. All signs point to the Usos, coming out and trying to fuck with the match. It might end in a disqualification. I don't see John winning, obviously, because I don't think John's going to win. You're not going to bring John back to beat Roman Reigns. I don't even think The Rock's going to beat Roman Reigns. But that's just to really solidify Roman as the top guy in today's era. But obviously I've rambled on. I'm going with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is going to hold on to this motherfucking title for a long time. And I'm fine with it. Like, he's going to hold on from now to Mania. Who he's going to drop it to, I don't know. I can't really see him losing to anyone. If he's going to lose that title, it's going to be because, I mean, I don't want to say this, but, it's going to be because he has to leave because of his Uncle Lou, last name Kimia, or that's pretty much the only way I see him ever dropping that title. Because I don't see anyone on this roster beating him. I mean, Cross would be an interesting matchup if Cross is on Raw, unless you put Cross on SmackDown. I mean, Damian Priest seems like an interesting matchup, but again, they're both on Raw, unless you put them on SmackDown. Drew McIntyre, but we've already seen that. So, I don't know. I don't know who you put in front of Roman that looks legit that could beat him, because I doubt they're going to have The Rock beat Roman, because The Rock has 4 movies coming out in a year. So The Rock's not going to have time to be champion. But yeah, that's just how I see it. But yeah, SummerSlam is going to be tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Sunday, we have NXT TakeOver, which is interesting. So let's go over the card of NXT TakeOver. It was announced that NXT will no longer be having their shows at Full Sail. Their partnership with Full Sail is now over. They will officially be doing their shows at the Capitol Wrestling Center from here on out. So good for them.
The Drew Yari Show.
Alright, so I have no clue that if you're solo, you can only have an hour of recording on an Anchor. I had no clue about that. It's weird because I've recorded in the past with other guests, and I was able to get more than just an hour. It's usually 2 hours, so I guess an hour per I don't understand. It's weird. So let's see what else we have here. So we have NXT TakeOver. NXT TakeOver, Capitol Wrestling Center. Let's see, 5 matches. Let's start with Walter, the NXT United Kingdom champion, versus Ilya Dragunov. I like the first match. I mean, how well is it? I mean, people are looking forward to this. I can see why. Walter, I like. Dragunov, I'm kind of 50-50 on. That was crazy that he was just busted open completely on Wednesday. Like, it wasn't even like a little blood. It was like a lot of blood. So, this match should be good. If I like the first match, I'm pretty sure I'll like this match. So, Walter's gonna retain. There's no doubt about that. Raquel Gonzalez, the NXT Women's Champion, versus Dakota Kai. They're gonna keep it on Gonzalez. I don't see her dropping that title to Kai. Kai is probably gonna go to the main roster pretty soon. Gonzalez is gonna keep up. Motherfucker. She's gonna keep that title, and she's probably gonna do what Karrion Kross is doing, pull him double duty, stay on NXT, and then see what she can do on the main roster. Which I'm interested to see the matchups with that. So, next we have LA Knight defending the $1 Million Championship against Cameron Grimes. The stipulation is that if Grimes loses, DiBiase has to become Knight's butler. I don't know. I mean, I guess the feel-good moment is let Grimes win. But it's just like this gimmick literally just started. So I don't really have a choice, personally. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this gimmick. I like LA Knight and I like Grimes, but it's weird. I guess go with Grimes for the feel-good moment. Next we have Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly in a 2 out of 3 falls match. The first fall being a wrestling match, the second fall being a street fight. The third fall, if necessary, which is going to fucking happen, is a steel cage. I mean, this match is going to be very predictable as far as like how it's going to go. You know it's going to go to fall through. Kyle's going to win because it's Kyle. They're going to want Kyle O'Reilly to get pushed to the moon. Adam Cole is going to go to the main roster because he already got signed back. I don't know what they're going to do with Kyle O'Reilly with Adam Cole gone. The Undisputed Era is dead, essentially. Bobby Fish is gone. He got fired. Roderick Strong probably should have been fired because he's just a big bag of nothing. Kyle O'Reilly I like. I want to see him do something with him. Adam Cole is probably going to be a big star on the main roster. This match, I'll be honest, I have not been a big fan of this feud, and it's weird because you look on paper, it's 2 guys that should light the fucking, house on fire. And it's not on them. It's not to say they're not good wrestlers and they can't, have a good match against each other. But the matches have been very anticlimactic. Like, their first match, that non-sanctioned match it was not very good. Because it was too long. There was no blood. Correction. It was either O'Reilly or Cole had blood coming from their mouth. Again, there we go. No actual blood, no repercussions, no bruises, no cuts, no scrapes. And the match was just too fucking long. And it's doing that thing of like, longer matches equal better matches. It's like, no, they don't. Matches do not need to be long to be good or tell a story. And then the second match was Great American Bash with Adam Cole and Kyle. I think that was maybe slightly better than the non-sanctioned match. So I don't know. I've been kind of disappointed in this view. The promos have been good. The matches, in my opinion, have been a little underwhelming because they're just too fucking long. And this is obviously going to be long. I kind of hope this is not the main event. It really should not be the main event. I mean, hopefully the next match we're talking about is the main event. But for Jeff Lippman's sake, this should not be the main event. But it's going to go 3 falls. It's going to go a steel cage. And there's not going to be any blood. There's not going to be any scrapes or cuts or bruises like usual. Yeah, I'm going to go with Kyle O'Reilly on this one. This is going to be Adam Cole's last match on NXT. He's going to debut the next night. Or he might take some time off and debut at a pay-per-view. I don't know. But this is going to be Adam Cole's last night on NXT. Just mark my words. Lastly is what I'm assuming is the main event. You have Karrion Kross, the NXT World Champion, versus Samoa Joe. This is going to be a good match. This is a match that, a lot of people have been wanting to see because you have Joe who hasn't wrestled in over a year, but he looks like he's going to do just fine in the ring. And Kross, I don't see Kross as somebody you have to worry about being dangerous in the ring because he doesn't necessarily do anything that's reckless. He doesn't do flippies. He doesn't do kicks. Kross is a straight up ass kicker. Like, that's his thing. He's an ass kicker. He's a power wrestler. He's dominant. And Biggie goes, oh no, Biggie didn't get his briefcase back. So this is going to be a good match. I don't see how this match is going to be bad, unless they try to make it too long. But I think it's going to be very simple. I don't see Samoa Joe winning. Because, calling a spade, Samoa Joe's, he's in his 40s. He's in his 40s and Kross is the younger guy. And this is how I've always said it about Kross. If he's gonna drop that title, it's gonna be on his own terms. Like, the way I see it is he beats Joe, and then he comes on an NXT the next night and just hands William Regal the title and says, I've beaten everybody on the show. I've beaten Cole. Let me restart. I've beaten Finn. I've beaten Cole. I've beaten Gargano. I've beaten Dunn. I even beat your precious Samoa Joe. There is nobody else on the show for me to wrestle anymore. I'm done. And then he hands, Regal the title and says, I'm on to bigger and better things. So, and then he leaves. Him and Scarlett leave. They go to the main roster. Because even Kross had said in the promo against was it Gargano, he's like, my dream is to main event WrestleMania and be the WWE champion. And he said that for a reason. So Kross is going to the main roster. I mean, he's already on the main roster, but he's officially going to be on the main roster starting I'm going to guess in 2 weeks. So that's just how I'm booking it. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but let's just be real. After Joe, who are you going to put in front of Kross? Like, who else is left to wrestle for pros? Like, who? Exactly. Nobody. I mean, Odyssey Jones seems like a nice matchup, but he's new. And I have no desire to see him wrestle Carmelo Hayes. So, that's just kind of how I see it. I think that's going to happen. So, anyways, that is my NXT review. Or not review, that's my predictions for this Sunday. I hope you enjoyed the show. This is gonna be some interesting editing. And again, I had no clue that I was only allowed an hour by myself on Anchor, so this is gonna be fun to do. That's definitely not. I'm definitely not doing shorter shows by myself. That's for damn sure. But anyways, guys, appreciate y'all. I hope you guys have a nice weekend watching SummerSlam and NXT. Shout outs to everybody, Wrestling Soup, of course, Kevin Castle, Trez, Baseball Chicky, Breaking the Apocalypse with John Draper, Shaheen, B-Show Brian, Little RJ the Brooklyn Savage, Monty, Ruben Prime, Jeff Littman, of course, Steve, Hammerlock Hangover, the Texas Podcast Massacre, can't forget those boys, and Lady, of course, Fall Scout Radio with Andrew Carlick, Clark Street Wrestling Podcast. Trying to forget about Wrestling Court. Can't forget about Wrestling Court. And just shout to everybody else. Shout to everybody who has a podcast. And again, I will edit this show. Might not be up tonight. I might even, fuck it. I'm just gonna edit it as soon as I get off here. But anyways, guys, take care. Have a great night. Have a great SummerSlam weekend, and I will see you next week. Peace out.